Hello and welcome. Today we are showing my the beginning of my Skull Blaster game. And here we have the first bit of code. This is a controller script. This is actually gonna allow us to control the sprite, move it around. So here we are with our where we've set up the controls. So here we're allowing the key code to be selected in the Unity interface for whenever you are to select the teleport key, the move forward key, or however, whichever one you want to use. Um, so then down here, just make decisions. This is where we're calling this controller script right here, making sure that we have access to it. And right here, this is where we are actually checking for the input to see if the keys are being pressed or if they're down. This one specifically, the teleport key. This is going to tell the console that we have teleported, and then this is actually telling the player, the pawn, to carry out the teleport command that we have defined in the skullmover.cs script over here. Now each of these are the same essentially for the different movements. You rotate clockwise, counterclockwise, move up for teleporting just a little bit. The same for teleporting down, left, right. And here we have for the turbo key, you're going to move twice as fast as the speed that is selected in the unit interface. And then this is going to allow us to exit the application once you press the escape key. Now, here in this script, we have where we have defined all the, these are the variables for whenever we're going to spawn the character to different positions. This is making them publicly available throughout these scripts, the same as these, making these functions available for us. Now, in our player pawn, so what we are doing is including this skull mover so that we have access to it with this get component. And then here this says if the mover is there, then we're going to go ahead and tell it to move forward. This is calling the commands that we have selected here in the skull mover. The same for move backwards, rotate counterclockwise. I had to go ahead and put this lowercase m in here because I kept mixing these back and forth, and that won't work otherwise. So if I scroll down here, see they're all essentially, we have our teleport option with our different variables that we're going to allow to teleport to, which directly correlate right here. So this is where we're actually drawing a random number to these. So we can then call it here. This is telling this new vector is where the player is going to go once we do teleport. So it's going to go from this position to this new vector where these coordinates are. Here we have the speed. So if you're pressing the turbo button, then you're going to be where you are, but you're going to go twice as fast as you have been told. This time.delta time, that's going to make sure that the speed is saved like the same depending whatever if you have a really fast computer or a slow computer, so it's not sort of glitching out. That's going to help us there with a bit of frame loss. Of course, here we have when it calls this move down function, we're going to say you teleported backwards. Then it's going to tell it this minus is the opposite of vector 3 up, so it's going to move it, instead of moving it up, it's going to move it down. And then here, let's see. All right, so like our moving forward, we have this position equals our sprite position, and we're going to move up at the speed that we have selected in the interface. And this one is just going to be opposite, minus equals, so that we can go backwards instead. And here we are defining our speed so that the designers can go ahead and change that along with our rotate speed. All right. So we'll come in here to the interface real quick. So this is where we can set our variables for how far we want the player to be able to teleport, how fast we want them to move, and how fast we want them to rotate. And over here we have the options for what key does what. So it can be set up however you really want. Now, let's open up this build here and let's give it a whirl. Made with Unity. Very neat. Alright, so as you see here, we can rotate as we should. We're moving kind of fast because that's how I have it set up. Pretty smooth movements here. We can teleport if we hit the arrow keys just like how we should. Then if we hit the shift key, we're really fast. Either shift key, it doesn't matter which one. And then we can also teleport. And those are teleporting within the range that we have selected. Alright, so that's the beginning of my MoveItTrooper project. Thanks for watching.